So yeah.
So for those just joining us, we're talking about ideation, the process of coming up with new ideas, and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, it's not only startups that can have new ideas. I mean, established organizations can also generate ideas and think through, brainstorm. For some of us here who started our businesses, what would you advise the processes to follow in generating new ideas? Because with innovation, you have to bring in something new.
Yes.
Yes, that's so. Beyond those just starting afresh, what process do you think would be advised for organizations that are already established?
Yeah. Well, I can answer this in two ways.
Okay.
The normal way which everybody is aware of is even whether you go to a business school or not, they always talk about market research, economic research, industry research, and customer research and testing. That is the typical way. But for us, this is also tied to our DNA, or if I can say our motto, which is first, as far as the idea is concerned, there's thinking of the idea, there's the creating, and then there's the selling of the idea. Now, just like TED Talks, how they say ideas worth sharing, those are the ones that should be. For us, ideas worth selling. So, as much as possible, the end customer, whoever is going to actually benefit from that idea, is the person you need to focus on. So that is the end goal. But as much as you are thinking of thinking of the idea that you will sell to that end customer, it's important that you think of the creating part. So as much as possible, I know this may, depend on your industry, it may actually require spending money to actually creating what we call in the typical business world, the prototype or the concept of it. It's important that you have it in whatever way that you can. It may require a lot of money, as I said, to do the creation before you can present it as a prototype for somebody to actually even buy into the idea. But even if you don't want to really go that far as far as creating a prototype, it's important that you illustrate the idea of, like I say, the concept of the idea, even on paper. So that is how I actually view the direction of actually the process of actually ideation for me. But as I said, the typical way, especially what you see in the business schools, is that you have to do market research, obviously. You have to prototype and test it, or even do a survey of whether really the customers, the prospects that you're actually targeting, whether they're actually going to even buy into this thing that you're creating or not. So for me, that is my process. It can be this way, or it can be the typical way of research and prototyping and all of that. Yeah.
All right. Now, I like the fact that you could skip the create part of the process.
Yeah.
My next question would be around failure. You started about failure. At what point do you move on from an idea that is not worth pursuing? So let's imagine you've gone through a Canvas test, you've done everything you think it's possible, perhaps also spent some money. At what point do you say, this is enough, I need to move on, this is enough?
Well, the reason why I would struggle to answer this is because my own formula to it actually has worked, and there's none. So that's why I said, for me, this is the way to really know whether it's worth pursuing. But if at all you are actually, it's the issue of risk reward, basically. I can't say, depending on the timeline of whether you should pursue this thing to the point.
For instance, your market is not responding well as you should.
Yes.
Right. Because selling is part of the process. I actually think that you should try to sell any idea you have first, because you're not creating the idea for yourself.
Yes.
You're creating for people, and you want to make money. In this context, we are talking about business.
Yeah.
This is not charity or non-for-profit.
Exactly.
So I just need to know if there are any guides we could be looking at for moving on from something that is not worth pursuing. You talked about ideas worth sharing.
Yes.
Now it's like ideas worth pursuing.
Yeah, ideas worth pursuing.
Because it's beyond the sharing now.
Yes.
We want to make money from our idea. So would it just be that the money is not coming in and moving on, or it will take some time, I need to look for more money? What do you have around it?
Yeah. Sometimes there are certain ideas that you have that possibly the world is not ready for. So I normally give the example of Steve Jobs.
Okay.
Or let me say even Henry Ford. Let me use Henry Ford's example, which I think there's a quote by him where he says, if he had asked people what they really wanted, they would have said faster horses. Yeah. Nobody would have thought of the engine.
Yes.
Yeah, the engine where cars actually move. So some ideas are, so you can imagine basically like with his own situation, he possibly had presented those ideas to prospects and say, look, this mechanical engine that can actually move a car, and this is how you will be able to achieve transport. But people would have been looking at him crazy and be like, no, we're not going to buy into this idea and all of that. Sometimes it needs you to actually do the creation, so that you can actually be able to demonstrate that that is an idea that really would benefit the end customer. So even with Tongston, many of the, should I say, field research that we did with schools and with teachers and potential clients, every time when we presented the idea of Tongston, they kind of were responding like, oh, this is not possible, or where did you get it from? Is it, they wanted to see something of, actually like a demonstration of the fact that maybe the idea really works or not. But we were not at that level yet. There was no Tongston College where we could say, oh look, students have gone through 6 years of entrepreneurship education and look at what they are doing. So for that, I would say it depends on really how much belief that you have in the idea, and belief and conviction actually. But if you really have gone through the process of, even it's passed the can-be test and you have created it and you have tried to now sell it after creating it, and really it still doesn't work, then yeah, maybe it's an idea that is really not worth pursuing or selling. Or that maybe it could be that the market is not ready for it. Maybe it's something for the future.
What would you think about cultural factors? For instance, Nigeria is a very peculiar environment.
Yeah.
There are a lot of ideas that might be valuable, but just for the environment we are at. Would you advise changing your location if you really believe in something? There are a lot of businesses in Nigeria or entrepreneurs in Nigeria who have, in some ways, relocated to other environments and their ideas have flourished.
Yes.
So in that sense, would you advise building ideas for your environment, or if you believe well in the idea, look for somewhere else it will try to flourish?
Okay. Yeah, so I would also tie this to my experience actually, yeah, because I have to contextualize within my own experience and what I've seen. Okay. Trust me, many times as far as Tongston is concerned, we, I guess it's, the last session we had and the last speaker actually, we noticed how she raised the issue of people trying to leave the country and going to find other clients, other societies. I'll give you an example. Even I have my sister-in-law also. She had the idea of, some few years ago, an idea of coming to Nigeria and setting up this digital school, learning management system.
Okay.
And
how many years was that? Was it before all the?
Yes, this was before COVID. This was before Thinkific. No, I mean for Nigeria.
For Nigeria.
She's thinking for Nigeria, okay. Because now this is not. Let me not. Maybe I shouldn't mention it, so there is no free publicity for them. But there's an organization that has.
You can mention it.
Okay, so there's an organization called FlexiSAF. Okay. They didn't exist before in Nigeria. But way before they even existed in Nigeria, this lady, my sister-in-law, she had the idea of it in Nigeria, but she felt Nigeria wasn't ready for it and nobody will accept it, and it's better she launches it in the UK. And that's what she did. But now she's trying to move back to Nigeria, but now FlexiSAF and so many other platforms have existed, and she's not going to be as relevant as them. Everything that she does now is going to be in reference to FlexiSAF, because they're the first movers into the market, you know. So I would say that it all depends on patience, I think, and also, but as much as we are patient, it shouldn't be a way that will harm you financially, or that will even lead to you losing other things that you have as far as your life is concerned.